Hello friends, in today's video let's explore the small town of Ketchikan in Alaska. It is the first port of entry and it is located at the southernmost part of Alaska. So the temperature here is not all that cold. Here is a quick view of this beautiful town. Its population is around 8,200 and the economy of this town mainly based on fishing, especially canneries and tourism. Now we are in Totem White State Park. Let's find out more details about what totem poles are. Totem poles are monumental carvings found in western Canada and the northwestern United States. They are usually made from large trees, mostly red cedar, and they are made by First Nations and Indigenous people. Let's hear more details from our tour guide.
This is my favorite park. We have 3 totem pole parks on the island, and this is my favorite one, so I'm so glad you chose it today. I want to come here. Now, when we became a state in 1959, the Forest Service did turn this park over to the state of Alaska. So it was a state park. It is on the National Historic Register of Historic Sites. Now, the word totem means marker, and bite is just a cove or inlet. The natives used to say it looked like a sea monster took a bite out of the coastline. So that's where the word comes from. Now, the thing about a bite in a normal cove, a bite loses its water when the tide goes out. So, mud bite, we drove by right before we got here. Okay, now these first 2 totem poles at the entrance of the park here were originally from Haida villages, and they were both memorial poles. So another use for totem poles, they carved them to honor the dead, kind of like a really nice grave marker. This one, obviously from the Eagle clan. This man was probably a high-ranking person in the clan. The design on the front is called a Chilkat blanket. And the original one was very ornate. It had inlaid stone and metal. But they just painted it to kind of replicate what that Chilkat design was on the chest of that eagle there. Now, the natives did not originally live on this island. They lived on islands south of here. And but as Ketchikan started to grow, it did affect their barter economy. And they abandoned their homes and totem poles and moved here to find work in those salmon canneries to have access to better medical care and schools. So, after several decades, the Forest Service, with the help of the CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps, they wanted to salvage the art, those wonderful totem poles. They didn't want that art to be lost. So they went out to those abandoned villages to try to save those old totem poles. Some had been stolen. Some had fallen over, were laying in the water. They saved what they could and moved them to Ketchikan. And many of them stood around downtown for many decades until the elements got the best of them. And today those old original totem poles are in our Heritage Center that's in City Park. So in City Park, back a ways from where we drove. It's kind of like a totem pole museum. Trickster wants it. And Chief Raven knows he wants it, so he has servants looking after his house and watching over his dog. So little Trickster Raven observes. They were very fearful of the landowners. They believed they could transform themselves to make them look human. They would lure the natives to
And Ketchikan has the world's largest collection of totem poles. We are seeing only some of them in this park.
ashore on the island of the landowners. So he killed his poor dog. He put the dog headdress over his head so they wouldn't recognize him as a native. And he was able to decide who are landowners, who are people. He's got his magical club in his hand. He's holding a land otter by its tail. He was able to people.
Let's explore the popular Creek Street area here. There is a very nice boardwalk built over Ketchikan Creek that has a lot of shops, restaurants and houses. And not to forget, this is the best place to view the salmon fish journey.
Now that we have
in a different era, honey. I would just drop you off.
Good morning. Would you care to take a tour of Dolly's house?
Right on. Let's go ahead and way back.
Creek Street. Let's find out some facts about this amazing salmon fish journey. They are born in fresh water. They migrate and spend most of their adulthood in sea. And when they are ready to reproduce, they swim thousands of kilometers to return to the same place where they were born. It's such a difficult journey as they have to swim upstream for thousands of kilometers. Many will not reach the final destination as the journey is so hard with so many hurdles. Once that make it to the final destination will lay eggs. There are some types of this species which will die after laying thousands of eggs. This is the fresh water stream where we can see that amazing upstream journey. June is the season. We are here in May now, hence we are not seeing any fish. But in June you can see thousands of them swimming upstream. We are done with our sightseeing now. Say goodbye to Ketchikan. Our cruise is now ready for the next leg of our journey. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share your comments.